Hello, everyone. We will be discussing time management in ABA today. So, for this training, we are going to look at time management in ABA, and our goals for today are understanding time management, assessing current time management practices, time management techniques and strategies, tools and resources, and then developing a time management plan. So the first question is, what is time management? Time management is the process of planning and controlling how much time we spend on specific activities. In ABA, when you're with a client in a session, you might have 2 hours of that's your time that you're doing that specific task. You may have you may do a task for a half an hour, like completing your session notes or inputting data. Um, And effective time management helps in achieving personal and professional goals. So, question one, what is time management? A, time management is the process of planning and controlling how much time we spend on specific activities. B, time management is assessing how long you're at work. C, time management is not important. Or D, time management is watching your favorite TV show. The correct answer is A. Time management is the process of planning and controlling how much time we spend on specific activities. There are 3 common challenges in time management. 1, procrastination. 2, distractions. And 3, workload overwhelm. So, how many of us have put off a task until the very last minute? And you're stressed out, you want to get it done, and then you rush and you get it done, but maybe it's not your best work. This is procrastination. So procrastination can hinder your productivity and increase your stress. Distractions, they disrupt your focus. If you're sitting in a meeting and somebody knocks on the door, well, now your focus is shifting away from what you were trying to do. And then workload overwhelm. When we have too much on our plate, it increases stress and it can even lead to burnout. And especially in the field of ABA, burnout is incredibly high, and that's something that we need to be aware of. Question 2. Which one is not a common challenge of time management? A, procrastination. B, distractions. C, workload overwhelm. Or D, increased attentiveness or focus. The correct answer is D, increased attentiveness and focus. They are not common challenges for time management. Benefits of effective time management. It can increase your productivity, it can reduce your stress, and it can even improve your work-life balance. By taking the time to schedule work activities, to schedule family activities, you can ensure that you are spending time in meaningful ways in all aspects of your life. It doesn't just have to be work. Um, so yeah. Assessing current time management practices. This is evaluating how we use our time, and it can help us to identify where we need improvements. So for me, like right now, I am working on this training, and I made sure to set a good chunk of my afternoon to be able to work on this today. My current time management practices are I work Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And then Mondays and Wednesdays, I also work at a dance studio, so there's time for that. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I make time to do schoolwork, catch up on other work things, and make sure to also enjoy my leisure activities. So, what do you guys currently spend the most time doing? Okay. Identifying time-wasting activities. What activities do you engage in that move you further away from being productive? Some examples of this are scrolling your phone, having conversations with your coworkers, playing a game, watching TV, anything that's just not being used in a productive way. Now, a note for time wasting activities. These can also be very important. It is so important to allow ourselves to have a break, to step away from work, from focus for a couple minutes. And when used appropriately, these can be very beneficial to your mental health. So, evaluating productivity levels. We need to reflect on our task completion, identify our work patterns, and we need to identify what makes us more productive, what makes us less productive. So reflecting on your task completion could be maybe, oh, I thought I was going to spend 10 minutes doing this task, and in reality, it took you 15. You can identify your work patterns. Do you have a space to sit down and focus on work, or are you surrounded by a bunch of distractions? And things that might increase productivity would be like, did you have a good breakfast? Did you sleep well at night? Um, and those same things in reverse can make it less productive. So, if you didn't sleep real well, maybe your attention isn't as high as it usually is or where it should be. Maybe you're hungry. So, if you eat something, you'll increase your productivity a little bit. You can track your activities. Using a stopwatch, you can see how long you engage in an activity for. You could start a stopwatch right now, and when you complete your task, hit stop, and you'll know how long you've done that task. Another thing you could do is use a timer to work on for that amount of time. So if I want to work on something for an hour, I can set a timer for an hour and ensure that, that's the 1 hour where I'm not being interrupted. I don't have any other distractions, and my only focus is my whatever task I need to complete. So some techniques and strategies. Set yourself some SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. What does this mean? You need to clearly define what you want to achieve. You need to have something that you can measure your progress. It needs to be realistic and attainable. We don't want to set our goals, so far out of reach that we get frustrated and upset. It needs to be relevant. Why are you setting this goal? And time-bound. When will it be completed? An example could be, during this supervisory period, I will conduct a VB MAP assessment. So for me, a supervisory period is 1 month. So I need to have this VB MAP assessment completed by the end of the month. What is a SMART goal? A broad, long-term goal, a clearly defined, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goal. Any goal you set for yourself or your team, or D, all of the above. It's B, a clearly defined, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goal. Some other techniques and strategies are using the Eisenhower matrix, which this helps you prioritize your tasks in a meaningful way. The Eisenhower matrix has 4 quadrants that I will show you in just a second, and it increases your focus on critical tasks, and it can reduce your time on low priority tasks. Time blocking and scheduling. Time blocking is when you allocate a specific time to do a specific task, and then scheduling provides structure. Here's an example of the Eisenhower matrix. So you have urgent and important, which are things that need to be done today. You have important but not urgent. These have a little more leeway. So like these need to be done, but it doesn't necessarily have to be right this second. Urgent but not important. These are the tasks that maybe you could delegate to somebody. Or, schedule it for later. You don't have to do it right this second. And neither urgent nor important. These can be your leisurely tasks, things that if you get to them, that's awesome. But if you don't, it's not going to mess up your whole workflow schedule. What are the 4 quadrants of the Eisenhower matrix? A, yes, no, never, always. B, important, not important, relevant, not relevant. C, urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither important or urgent, or D, none of the above. It's C, Urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither important or urgent. Some other tools and resources, you can use productivity apps or software like Google Calendars. You can use physical planners, time tracking tools. You can use stop timers and stopwatches. Project management platforms. You can use things like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Trello. These are all organization applications that we can utilize to make our productivity higher. Developing a plan. You're going to want to create a daily and weekly schedule. You want regular reviews and adjustments, and collaboration can help increase focus and get everybody on track to where they need to be. In ABA, we often find ourselves changing our priorities because we'll have an emergency with a client, we're getting asked questions. We need to also plan for those kinds of interruptions. We need to be able to plan for, well, I need to get this done, but I also need to be prepared if my client needs my help. These are important to remember because it can really throw off your schedule. It can really add stress. And it's just important to remember that we need to have a little bit of flexibility in our planning. So in conclusion, the effective time management is vital for personal and organizational productivity. By understanding its principles, assessing practices, and applying techniques, and developing a solid plan, you can achieve optimal results in what you want. It's incredibly important to manage your time wisely, especially when you start getting a bigger caseload.